You as you listen.
On Second Advent Radio, and to those of you who are joining us via our social media platform, we're delighted to come your way another time with another education interview. The Seventh Adventist Church operates one of the largest network of educational institutions in Protestant Christianity. In fact, I would like to let you know that we have well over 10,000 educational institutions around the world. That's quite a lot. We have some 146 universities and colleges. We have some 3,015 secondary schools and some 7,220 primary educational institutions. In addition to those, we also have a number of early childhood facilities. We are delighted today to take the time just to share on some educational emphasis. I have in studio here at Second Advent two of our primary school principals. We do have in the South Leeward Conference of Seventh Adventists, we have one secondary school. Yesterday we spoke to the secondary school principal. We have three primary schools, one in St. Kitts and two in Antigua, and we have an early childhood educational center. Today we are talking to our primary school principals in Antigua. So we have Mr. Robert Nicholas. Mr. Robert Nicholas is the principal of the Antigua Seventh Adventist Primary School. He has a master's in education administration. He is I was going to say young man, Mr. Nicholas. He has been working in education for a number of years. He's a career teacher. And we have the principal, newly appointed principal, relatively newly appointed principal of the New Bethel Academy, which is a primary school in the village of Liberta, Mrs. Corinne Patrick. And Mrs. Patrick holds a master's in psychology. She is a career teacher. I want to say to both of you, good day and welcome.
Welcome.
Good to be
Thank
here.
you.
So I want to ask us just a little bit. We have limited time, so we're going to try to see how best we can manage our time. Now, I believe this year, I want to begin with Mr. Nicholas. I believe this year is a significant milestone in Adventist education in Antigua. Something is happening. Some members of the public may not be aware, but in terms of Adventist education, we have been around for a while. And I know that we are celebrating a significant milestone. So could you talk to us about that with respect to how far back we have been with Adventist education?
Well, thank you, Dr. Green. And the fact is that the school, the Seventh Adventist Primary School, was established in 1934, the St. John's Church, when the old church was on Church Street, just west of the Anglican Cathedral. That's where it got started. And the number of persons who were involved in its establishment. So we have celebrated 90 years of existence here in Antigua with Adventist education.
Okay, wonderful. And so we started that celebration last September, which really marked the 90th year. And it's a year-long celebration. So 90 years of Adventism. And you see, we're going back to 1934.
Yeah.
Wow. That's quite a while before I came on the scene. All right. Now, what are some of the benefits? Both of you will contribute to this, but what are some of the benefits of Adventist education? And we're talking about at a primary school level now, because you're primary school principals. What are some of the benefits of choosing to send my child to the New Bethel Seventh Adventist Academy or the Antigua Seventh Adventist Primary School? Mrs. Patrick, you may begin.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Green. The New Bethel's Seventh-day Adventist Academy started in 2005. And this year also, we will be celebrating our 20th year, our 20th anniversary. And the benefits that anyone can derive from sending the boys and girls to our school one which we hold dearly is to be able to restore the image of God in each child. And in that process, we will be offering high standard curriculum which focus on integration of faith and learning in the classroom, and also it also prepares the child to have a relationship with our God. At the New Bethel Academy also, one of the benefits that you will have is that your child will be able to develop a meaningful relationship with the teacher, and also you can have get acquainted with not only the teacher but other parents, other students, and we operate as a family, as a community there. So we look out for each other. So safety is also one of the benefits there.
Now, you just mentioned that the school is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year.
Yeah.
That kind of tells me that I am getting old because I was the pastor at New Bethel when we started that institution. And so 20 years ago, wow, so much time has passed.
Yeah.
Now, as we're talking about benefits, Mr. Nicholas, Mrs. Patrick mentioned the integration of faith and learning. I want you to say a little bit more about that, because somebody may be listening and wonder, what in the world is integration of faith and learning?
Okay, the fact is that as a Seventh Adventist institution, we integrate our faith with our learning. In other words, students learn what we believe as Seventh-day Adventists, and that's why this school was established,
Right.
to teach our boys and girls our doctrines, our beliefs, and our lifestyle. And so in everything that we do at the school, even with their snacks, the water, the fruits, and so on that we encourage them to eat and drink, all a part of their development and teaching them about our basic doctrines of the church. And that's what it's all about.
So all of this is integrated into their academic program.
Right.
Unless somebody gets scared, we emphasize good health.
Yep.
We put a lot of emphasis on good health. Healthy living is important, especially in today's world where so many people are getting sick. Once upon a time, it used to be the older folks who were dying, but nowadays everybody's dying. And so we are talking about the orientation that exposes them to the life of Christ, the orientation that exposes them to a well-rounded development, focusing on health, exercise, healthy eating, etc., adequate rest, the whole concept of being neighborly, being community-oriented. So when we talk about what we believe, it is not some strange message we're teaching.
Right.
So you need not get uncomfortable with that. It especially in today's world, I'm thinking, with so much immorality. And, when we look at the levels of violence and the gang influence on our young people, to get a Christ-centered education is definitely important. Well, are there any other benefits that you either of you want to highlight?
Yes. Another benefit that we have as a school is that we encourage our students to pursue education. Ellen White said that higher than the highest human thoughts can reach is God ideal for his children. And we have about an 85% chance, your children will have about an 85% chance of attending higher education, colleges, universities, because of the orientation at our schools. Also, we encourage the students to be active in churches. We prepare them. We have them leading out in the classroom. When we have our week of prayer and so on, we prepare them in leadership role, meaningful leadership roles. So when they leave our doors, leave our walls, they can take up their rightful places in our churches.
I remember as a young Seventh Adventist, Mr. Nicholas would maybe remember that, because when I became a Seventh Adventist, he was one of the young leaders in the church.
Yeah.
That's a while back, Mr. Nicholas.
Yeah, quite a while.
But there was such a strong emphasis on education that although I was still pretty young, I began to sense the need, just from all of the emphasis on academic achievement and training, you wanted to pursue higher education. So when you mention that, attending a Seventh Adventist school, we seen that most of the individuals who pass through the educational
Right.
system tend to go on to higher education.
Right.
That's pretty important. Mr. Nicholas, what else do you want to add to that before we move on?
Well, especially because of the trend that's happening now in the worldwide church, it's important for us to understand that a Christian education will help to cement
Right.
the belief of our students in the Word of God and in Jesus Christ. Because this is one of the things that we're having challenges with today, even something as simple as church attendance. But our children, as was mentioned earlier by Mrs. Patrick, the fact that they're involved in church sponsored activities, and because they have the training, because we teach them at school what to
Right.
do, they're better able to fit in and participate in church activities. Currently, we are having a crusade, and the ushers are students from our school, and they're doing an excellent job. And I really want to stress that, because when we get our children involved in other activities other than just the academics, but the spiritual, they develop a love for the church because they've received that love from Jesus Christ, and we see them retaining their membership in the church, and the Lord continues to use them to help to spread the gospel.
I believe Mrs. Patrick mentioned the involvement of the children, as you're saying, in leading out in public services. One of my observations is that generally the children who attend the Seventh Adventist school tend to be very comfortable making presentations. So the matter of stage fright, the matter of not wanting to stand in front of a crowd, that is significantly diminished
Yes.
because of the exposure they get. So
Right.
so and also I notice that they are very well spoken. They're comfortable with expressing themselves, which is a good thing. But let's move on. We have limited time. Half our time has gone already. Now, we tend to focus on the total development of the person, the whole person.
Right.
So why is this necessary? When I talk about Adventist education, people like to say, it's about the mental, the physical, the spiritual, etc. Why the whole person development?
Okay, well, yeah, our motto says that education for life. So if you're talking about education for life, you're talking about preparing our students for life, existing. But we go a little further, because we're not just preparing them for this life, but we're also preparing them for eternity, which is life everlasting. And so that twofold approach means that we cannot just be content with preparing them academically so they can do well, passing their common entrance or passing so many subjects at GC or GCSE. But the fact is that they need to develop a relationship with their God. And that is all a part of the development that we're talking about here, the whole rounded in development of the child. So they are developing spiritually, but at the same time they're getting the academic input as well. And our students generally do very well in the national assessments. So it's not that there's so much emphasis on the spiritual that they don't get the academic, they get both. But with that, not only that, they get involved in community outreach as well, because we also get them involved. We have our annual soup kitchen when we have our harvesting, not harvesting garden, but harvest program. Parents contribute, they get involved in distributing goods to, we normally visit Tabitha, which is our own home. We have the care project at the Halberton Hospital. We get them involved in that, so they're able to do community outreach as well. So it's a well-rounded development that they have in terms of the outreach that we do at the school.
Right. Yeah, and added to that, the focus is mainly when we talk about the total development, we are talking about the head, heart, and hand concept, and we encourage students to do community services like October last year. We went in the community of Liberta and we gave out food packages to persons. Also, we encourage them to be able to stand up for the right. We teach them values, and when they are placed in situations, we encourage them to use those same biblical values to help them navigate their way. So you find that our students are able to think critically also and don't just get engaged because it is their friend, you know, but they are able to think it through, whatever it is, and to have and to take a stance that reflect Christ in the end.
So what I hear you both saying is that while academic is important, your focus is not just on academic.
No.
And I want to go back to the term that Mr. Nicholas used there. I think you said it's the motto, education for life.
Right.
So that when the students leave the institution, they are well fitted to live and to make a meaningful contribution.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting focus. I'm sitting here, you know, I don't have primary age children anymore, and I'm not going to get, but I'm here thinking, what a beautiful thing, you know, especially with what is happening in our world,
Right.
where people are so easily influenced. Mrs. Patrick, you indicated that one of the emphasis there is that people are able to have, the children are able to do critical thinking
Right.
and to be able to reason things out rather than just following the crowd. So I get a sense that there is this matter of not just being influenced by peer pressure, but being able to stand up for yourself.
Right.
Well, let me ask another question. And I kind of hinted to this because I did say that I know that academics are important. Everybody wants to know that their
Yeah.
child exceeds academically. But the reality is, every child will not be an academic front runner. We want to do the best we can to make them excel in the academics, but we ought to do some other things. So what else does the school offer? If I send my child to New Bethel Academy, if I send my child to the Antigua Seventh Adventist Primary School, what other activities do you do that is a significant benefit to the child?
Okay. At the New Bethel Academy, we have what we call the skill program, the focus on, as you said, Dr. Green, not all the students that come through our doors are academic students, so we prepare them, we expose them to art and craft. Right now we have a carpentry class running where the children are taught how to make different things. Last term they were able to make a cricket bat. This term they have worked on making a stool that they can take home and use. Also we expose them to the music program that we have at the school. They are taught how to play the steel pan and the recorder, and also they are taught how to do basic cooking. They develop basic cooking skills at the school.
That's interesting. So that's interesting that you mentioned basic cooking. So they're
Yeah.
able to assist their parents at home
Right.
in the kitchen. That now you had a recital last week, I believe.
Yes.
And I was there, and I really did enjoy the quality of the steel pan that the children were playing. Now I know that I saw the staff playing the steel pan as well, so
Yeah.
that's an added.
Yeah.
But I was really very impressed with the way those children handled the steel pan. That it was really professional. Yes. So we have skill development. I think you mentioned upholstery, carpentry, those kinds of things. Mr. Nicholas, what else?
Well, similarly, we have similar programs offered at the primary school as well. But in addition to that, I just want to mention that we have a strong Spanish program where the teacher, we have a teacher who specializes in Spanish, and it serves two purposes because on the one hand we are exposing our students to a foreign language, which is very important, and at the same time we have a number of foreign students who are there with us, Spanish speaking in particular, which also benefit from her presence there. So it's not just the regular things, the language, maths, science, and social studies, but we also expose them to a Spanish program that they can participate in fully as well.
That's very good. And your Spanish teacher is a not an Antiguan who learned Spanish somewhere else, but somebody who is a native, natural born Spanish speaker.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good, I suppose.
Added to that, Pastor Green, also, we also have our Spanish program at New Bethel, and we also have Mandarin. Mandarin will be coming back on stream for the next school year, and it will be somebody coming out of China directly to us to teach it in our schools.
Okay, so we have a lot of Chinese in Antigua.
Yes.
So they're going to be able to interpret for me when I want to reach them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good stuff. Mr. Nicholas, you also have, I understand, and I know that there's a little tragedy surrounding this because one of our teachers just expired, but you had a program, I think you call it
SEN,
SEN.
Special Education Needs Program.
Yeah, so that when children who are
challenged academically, they're trained, they have special instructions that will help them with the basic reading, writing, and arithmetic. So that program, unfortunately, might have to be held up until we get a replacement, because unfortunately we lost our specialist teacher on the weekend on Sabbath, Mrs. Underwood Joseph, and I just want to express publicly condolences to Bobby and the rest of the family for their loss, because we are still in mourning, and it's a really hard time for us right now.
Certainly. Condolences to all involved. And of course, I was there yesterday with the staff and the students, just to provide some degree of comfort. But yes, we are committed to ensuring that we have an adequate replacement as soon as possible, because the matter of the need to provide for those special cases is really significant. Yes. We pride ourselves in catering to all, which is kind of what I want to wrap up this discussion with today. The reality is, when we have children, sometimes children will develop at different rates.
Right.
And I believe we have a policy that says no child left behind.
Yes.
So that's a wonderful focus indeed, a very wonderful focus. But I thought to myself, all these things are happening, and we don't hear them pretty often. So it's important to get the message out there. But somebody out there may be listening and be saying, can my child go to the Seventh Adventist school? Is the Seventh Adventist school only for Seventh Adventists? Do you take students who are not Seventh Adventists?
Yes, we do. We do take students who are not Seventh-day Adventists, and all we require is that they abide by the rules of the school. We do have standards as a Seventh-day Adventist institution, and parents sign on to that, and we just expect everybody coming there to accept and respect the rules that we establish at the school as Seventh-day Adventists.
So if somebody listening today, I believe this is the time of the year when you're beginning to
registration has begun already, Pastor. I could let you know that.
Oh,
so if they want to, they can collect registration forms at the school or even here at the conference, so that they can have their children registered for the upcoming academic school year.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and also at the New Bethel Academy, we are open for registration now. Last week we had open day where we had over about 80 students, 80 preschoolers who came by to visit our school to see what is happening there, and for the parents also to consider us as an option. So yes, we take students who are not 7-day Adventists. Just call us. You can call the school 562-72118, and we can take it from there. And we're happy to have all students there.
Now, I know that there are lots of private institutions, educational institutions in Antigua, but I do understand that our tuition rates are among the lowest.
Yes, yes, they are.
Yes. Yes, it is.
So nobody has any excuse then.
Right.
All right. Now, you did say we take, and you emphasize you take non-Seventh Adventists.
Yeah.
My anticipation is that every Seventh Adventist who has a child at primary school age should be in our schools.
Yes.
So
Definitely.
we want to appeal to them likewise to make sure that they utilize the opportunity. Because going back to a comment that Mr. Nicholas made a little earlier about was it Mr. Nicholas? Yes, Mr. Nicholas indicated that, one of the things that the foundation does is that it ensures that when the students get older, they will not give up their faith in God.
Yeah, right.
And I see too often that individuals leave home, they go to university and come back, and all of a sudden they don't want to hear anything about church, they don't want to hear anything about God. But that foundation is really, really very important. So I don't know what final word you want to say to your school. I mean, I don't want to go into some other areas because we only have a minute and a half, but you may want to take 20 seconds to say something that you want the public to know about your school.
Yes. New Bethel Academy should be your school of choice, because we offer academic, and also we have the music program, and we cater for every boy and girl. We have the skill program that is geared specifically for the non-academic students. So we are there waiting and ready to accept your boys and girls as they come through our doors.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nicholas.
And I will just simply end by saying that we prepare students for life and for eternity. And so if you're interested in having your children excelling here in this life and to be guaranteed a place in the eternal kingdom, DSD Primary School is a place for them.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Amen.
Friends, we were talking with, I'm Dr. Carson Green, President of the South Louis Conference, and we were talking with Mr. Robert Nicholas, Principal of the Antigua Seventh Adventist Primary School, and Mrs. Corinne Patrick, Principal of the New Bethel Seventh Adventist Academy in Liberty. It was a pleasure sharing with both of you. We will be back tomorrow with another interview. May God bless you.
Amen.
Thank you.